Hey, everybody. My name is Danielle, and this is Chatter Out Loud. Thank you so much for joining me. Your presence is very much appreciated. So, welcome or welcome back. Today, I'm going to chat about Hallmark Movies and Mysteries, new original mystery, Family History Mysteries, Buried Past. Family History Mysteries, Buried Past. It's like a mouthful. It's just a tongue twister there. Anyway, it premiered on Sunday, January 8th at 7 p.m. Eastern on the Hallmark Movies and Mysteries channel, and it stars Janel Parrish, who plays Sophie, Niall Mater, who plays Jackson, and Morgan David Jones, who plays Jonathan. And the synopsis is as follows. Genealogist Sophie McLaren is an expert at bringing families together. When her close friend Jonathan urgently needs to find a bone marrow donor, the case becomes personal. Okay, first, how much do I appreciate the start time for this movie? I hope they continue with this. The movie started at 7 p.m. Eastern versus what used to be a start time for a murder mystery at 9 p.m. Eastern. But 7 p.m. Eastern works for me, and I suspect for a lot of fans. So thank you, Hallmark. I like that start time. All right, so after watching this movie, my immediate thoughts were this wasn't a murder mystery. I initially felt some type of way. I was a little disappointed, but of course, I still watched it, and for the most part, I enjoyed it. And I'd like to see this turn into a series. I'd support it, and I'd watch. It's definitely a different approach when it comes to mysteries. I Prior to watching the movie, I only relied on the preview and how they led up to the movie with that all-day garage sales mystery, right? So I didn't read anything. I didn't read the synopsis before. I didn't do any online research or anything. I just relied on the preview and then the all-day garage sales murder mystery, right? So I sat down, went in watching this movie, and I felt a little misled. I wanted a murder. The other thing that made me feel a little silly was that I didn't realize that the brothers in the movie were twins. I missed it early on, and during the movie, when they shared the picture of the brothers as babies, and I think one of the lines indicated that they were twins, I just felt so silly because I really didn't pick up on that. And I'm like, okay. And I thought twins would have, or maybe identical twins have the same DNA, right? Maybe not fraternal twins. Because once I learned that they were twins, I'm like, why is it so hard for him to find a bone marrow match? He needed a bone marrow transplant, Jonathan, and why is it so difficult to find within the family when he has a twin brother? So I was confused there. Now, did they work as twin brothers? The two actors, Niall Mater and what is the other guy's name? Morgan David Jones. Did they work as twin brothers? Okay, sure. Although I thought Niall Mater's character Jackson looked older than Morgan David Jones's character Jonathan, but whatever. I went with it. Okay, so the mystery on its own was okay. It was more surrounding a missing person. And in the end, it all came together. But if I'm honest, I got a little lost during the biological father search. But it's okay. I just settled in my mind that that's how genealogy works. And that's how DNA works and the databases and capturing all of that, right? But I didn't fully buy into why the biological dad chose to stay away. I have questions. Um, like, how come they had to go through all of the database and DNA and all of those searches and getting getting all that information from the brothers and putting it in this database to search when the biological dad was still close, you know, in i- close in proximity, meaning neighboring towns or something like that, and he didn't even change his name. And for me alone, wouldn't that be the first step you would do when you're searching for someone? Look for them by their name. I don't know. This was like the part of the storyline that I'm thinking I missed something, you know, and I'm gonna go back and watch it again, and maybe with a fresh set of eyes, you know, now that I've seen the whole thing, I'm gonna watch it again just to see. Oh, I completely missed a specific part, you know. But wouldn't you search the person's name? Wouldn't that be the first place where you start? I would think. And so I just had a hard time with the whole DNA and all of that and that part of the storyline. And the other part of the storyline I had an issue with, I'll talk about in a minute when I talk through the few observations I had in the movie. So I felt the performances were good. I thought Janelle Parrish did a great job. I'd certainly be interested in watching her in a long running series. I thought the Sophie character was likable. One thing I wasn't a fan of though was when she was doing her research in the office and they did like this picture in picture screen thing with a view of what she's looking at. So we see her sitting at her desk looking at her computer, and then there's another picture like kind of overlaying, it's like a picture in picture, it's like overlaying that picture, just showing like what's on her screen, right? I don't really like that. That's not my personal taste. Like with Garage Sale Mysteries and Aurora Tea Garden and Murder She Baked, to name a few. I'm a huge fan of how that style of storytelling is done, because we watch the character act out those parts, you know, their thoughts on the mystery itself. You know, they just talk through those thoughts. But here they were just showing like things on the screen, and I don't know. I just wasn't a fan of that. And I guess it'll take me some getting used to, right? Especially if this turns into a series, and this is the basis of the series. It's not solving a murder, but doing DNA and genealogy type things to search, you know. I feel that we're now tied to Niall Mater's character Jackson as a permanent fixture if this turns into a series, right? And this is based on how the movie ended, right? I have to see more of the Sophie Jackson together before I believe that they're a couple. They kind of flirted with that idea throughout the whole movie, and they kind of tie it up a little bit towards the end. So, but it was cute how how Jackson could read Sophie's tells, meaning like one tell that Sophie had was wiping her nose and the hair behind her ears when she's uncomfortable or lying. And he just called that right out. I thought that was just a cute scene. I thought that they had good chemistry and it worked. All right, so let me get into a few observations. The stepdad withholding information from his wife and the boys. Well, they're grown men, but you know what I mean. Did anyone else find that this was kind of cruel? I mean, Jonathan's life was in danger. That's their son. You would think that they do anything to save Jonathan's life. So if by locating the biological dad or having that information, if that is all it took to save Jonathan's life, wouldn't that be the right thing to do? And then afterwards, after the bone marrow transplant and Jonathan has healed, then the family can work through the fallout of the stepdad keeping the information about the biological father to himself, right? They can work through that after the fact. But I don't know. That was just odd to me. Uh, I mean, think about it. The alternative is what? Keep it to yourself, keep it a secret, and then what? Risk Jonathan's life? Yeah, that was kind of cruel to me. Another observation is the assistant's love interest, and this is Sophie's assistant. I forget her name and I forget her love interest name, but it was difficult to watch. I was surprised by this, and I just hope that they have better chemistry when this is turned into a series, and if they bring that guy back, her love interest back. It was just hard to go through that part of the story. Um, I mean, I believe people trip over their words. I do it all the time, you know. We're human. I get that part. But the believability factor was just missing for me. I mean, the way he hesitated and then the lines didn't flow well, it was hard to watch. I hope they just make a correction when they come back with a series. And the mystery the assistant solved, which captured, or excuse me, The mystery that the assistant solved, which catapulted Sophie into solving her own mystery with the missing dad. I see why they added that part of the story and how that ties things all together. But on the surface, for that specific part of the storyline and the letters, I didn't buy into that. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. What I'm trying to say is I didn't care much for the letters or that part of the story. I see why it was there and how it tied into the larger story, but I didn't care. All right. Overall, this was a different mystery than I expected. I did like it. I'd look forward to a series. I'd also be looking forward to Sophie's mystery, her own mystery that we discovered during this movie of finding her own biological parents. So they have a lot of work with. They have a lot to work with to at least get another movie, right? And I'd want to see it. I want to see more. Family History Mysteries, Buried Past. Have you seen the movie? What did you think? You have to let me know your thoughts in a comment below. And that's all I have, so be sure to come back and give me a listen. I'd love for you to like, share, follow, comment, and subscribe, all of which will help my channel grow, so thank you in advance. My name is Danielle. This is Chatter Out Loud. Thank you so much for joining me, and as always, I appreciate your support. And that's all I have. Thanks again for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.